takes away from renters in the area. It takes their compliance is difficult.
7 people died just over a year ago here in Old Montreal. Some of the units had been operating as illegal Airbnbs. Since then, Quebec cracked down on illegal stays, handing out over $1.5 million in fines, according to data from Revenu Quebec.
They aren't inspected, and you arrive there and you could be arriving to something that isn't really, as that one wasn't, up to scratch.
Regulators all across the country are looking at what's happening in Quebec in order to, really ensure that hosts are compliant and that those that aren't will be, identified and fined.
The compliance rate is 90% for offers posted simultaneously in January and February 2024 on the Airbnb and Vrbo platforms, compared to the nearly 58% rate estimate in August 2023.
It's really great to see that the compliance rate increased dramatically over just the span of a few months, and that the province of Quebec is really cracking down on illegal operators and hosts that are trying to list their properties online without having a proper permit in place.
City News spoke to some tourists visiting Montreal and asked them about how they make decisions in regards to where to stay when traveling. Many said they've had some good and some bad experiences at short-term rentals like Airbnb and have since switched back to going to hotels for the most part.
People realize that, hey, these prices are not as cheap as they once were. And we shouldn't forget that hosts were able to offer very cheap prices in the past because they were not paying their fair share in terms of, commercial property taxes, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we're seeing a rebalance here.
But some say Airbnb is often the cheaper alternative and allows for co-living and cooking for yourself.
It's good that there's a crackdown, but there does need to be different types of accommodation for different types of people.
Some admitted to never checking if safety measures or emergency equipment was included and conforming to safety regulations, but that knowing about the fatal Old Montreal fire, they'll now think twice before booking.
Here we are in a housing crisis in Canada. We don't have enough housing stock, and government stepping in to ensure that units that were planned, zoned, built, approved as residential retain its residential status and not being used as ghost hotels.
In Montreal, Brittany Henriques, City News.